Welcome back, everyone. This is Jarenitis bringing you Feed the Beast 1.6. Today we are starting on episode 70. Episode 70 is going to be kind of interesting. I'm not sure how I want to proceed. I want to get into bee breeding, as I said last episode that I would. And to get into bee breeding, we need to get use of... Oh yeah, it's over here. The frames. Okay. We can use the magic bees frames, and those are good, but they're a little bit more of a pain to make. So the big thing is oblivion frames. Okay, oblivion frames make a very big difference when it comes to bee breeding because it cuts down the amount of time that you spend breeding by a significant amount. I mean, like, amazingly large amount. Okay, so the other thing we're going to want is we're going to want impregnated frames. The reason we're going to want impregnated frames is because you use the impregnated frames to make soul frames. Okay, soul frames are from extra bees. Soul frames, basically they increase the chance of... Or is it soul frames? No, yeah, it's soul frames, isn't it? Yeah, Nova frame. What is a Nova frame? Oh, it won't show me. I've never seen a Nova frame before. That's interesting. Healing frame? Healing frame. I wonder if that heals the bees or if it heals the frame. Whatever. I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, soul frames. Soul frames increase the percentage chance of you getting a certain mutation that you're looking for. Okay, so to make this, we need to be able to make impregnated frames. Impregnated frames are just impregnated sticks with a piece of string. Impregnated sticks are logs in a carpenter with seed oil. So it was it last episode? It's been a good couple days since I recorded, so I don't remember exactly where I was. You'll have to excuse me for that. I knew that I was getting into bee breeding, but I don't remember if it was last episode that I started doing the auto pumpkins. No, that was 3 episodes ago. Anyway, we have automated pumpkins. Oh, by the way, secondary side note. I upgraded the Direwolf 20 pack to the 1.0.18 version today, and I've had to do a little bit of cleanup because of that, but that's okay too. Ooh, I need to fix that right now. Otherwise, well, I don't really have to fix it right now, but I need to fix it right now while I'm thinking about it. When they change things up in this respect, Thaumcraft got updated, and we're going to have to get into the Thaumcraft update because it's a big difference. But we're going to have to get into that. Let's see. This is going to be... I need this to be... No. Okay, that one's fine. This one I need empty. And now... Bingo, Potentia. Sweet. That will work rather nicely. Okay, so... And we cut that one, and these... And why isn't that one attaching? Because it won't attach to the face of it. That's why. Okay. I need to cut that down. And we'll replace it facing the right direction. And now it's going to be full of Ignis because I don't want it to be. I swear it's like I know. Okay, so Ignis is useless to me in that one. So let's go... Okay, there's nothing in there now. Well, that one only gets Ignis, so let's empty that one, just because that'll take some of the Ignis out of here, and that should... No, you're not supposed to get Ignis. How is this happening? This shouldn't be happening. It's... Ignis is up there. You know what, let's... Fine. You know, let's... No, you know, that one's Ignis. All the Ignis should be going to there. Therefore, there should be no Ignis in here. But there is. Because reasons. Come on. I know you're gonna have some. Okay, fine. You know what? Let's do it this way. Gonna make me actually get out my goggles and do this way, just for the moment. Okay. We have Ignis in here, and there's nothing in there. Fine, as long as there's nothing in there. Let's go ahead and break it so that it's facing the right direction. Replace it, and let's void that Ignis. No, 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 no. Why is it doing this to me? Where's the potentia? There should be like potentia in here. Oh, I bet it's doing it because this pipe's still attached. It keeps dumping the essentia in here because that's what it's supposed to do. Wow, you're really gonna make me do this. Fine, I'm gonna break you. That clears you out. Now I'll replace you. You get instantly filled up from both sides. Good, now you're gonna continue. No. 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 Of course, and the potentia is up there. That's wonderful. Don't want potentia up there. Ah, I just voided the one I wanted. And then I did it again because I'm a genius. Okay, there we go. Good. Potentia. That means that fire should, Ignis should show up here in just a second. We're going to put this piece of pipe back. Basically, they made it so that the pipes are almost useless. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically they made it so that only one type of essentia can travel through a pipe at the same time, and they made it so that it has to be traveled, it has to go through, and it's stuff for reasons and so on. My real question is, why is this one not getting anything? It shows this one's empty still, but it should show Ignis showing up here. Unless it's just constantly draining the potentia until it finally has nothing left but Ignis. Well, whatever the case may be. Oh, it's because it's going. This is filling up. It's going into the top alembic and going immediately back out of it. So it won't actually show up any Ignis in there until this jar is full. Okay, so anyway, we'll come back to that in a minute because I'm getting distracted and we don't have that much time to be distracted. Alright, so we're just going to take that back off for now. Alright, so basically what we want to do, we want to make some soul frames to go along with our oblivion frames. Okay, oblivion frames are going to cause the bees to die off after one tick of life damage, okay, and instead of having to tick all the way down and then die. So these will kill them after one tick of life damage. So that's good. This will take down the time frame necessary. The other thing we want to do is we want to take down the amount of times that we have to breed them to get what we want. Okay, and that's where the soul frames come into play. So the soul frames are going to be useful because they increase the percentage chance of you getting what you're trying to get. Okay, so this is the squeezer for seed oil. This is water. Okay, here we have seed. Okay, we're out of seed oil. Okay, well that's good to know. So we can go ahead and put this here and this here. And with those there, it's going to make impregnated sticks. Okay, and I guess we had just the tiniest bit of seed oil. Alright, so anyway, now, what we want to do, when I set up the auto pumpkins, I want to set it up from here so that it moves pumpkin seeds into the squeezer. Okay, and since we're getting pumpkins from the importers, from the transition planes, we should have, well, I haven't let it run too much, but we should have some pumpkins in here. Alright, so we have 43 pumpkins and 11 seeds. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take some pumpkins and we're going to take some seeds. Now, we're going to program the system that one pumpkin equals 4 seeds, so we're going to go ahead and encode that. Okay, so we're going to put this in here. So now the system knows how to convert pumpkins into seeds. Okay, so now when we come over here, we're going to come into this export bus, and we're going to tell it we want it to export seeds. And it can export, well, it can export in singles, it won't matter. But the point is that we want to do a move single items or craft, okay? Because that's one of the options. So what it will do is it will import all of the seeds we have already, and then it will say, hey, we need to import some more seeds, or we need to export some more seeds into this chest, but we don't have any. Oh wait, we have pumpkins, so it automatically takes the pumpkins from the ME system, converts them into seeds, and then puts them in here. So now we have seeds being made as fast as they can be made, or well, we'll run out of pumpkins is what it'll come down to. So when we run out of pumpkins, when more pumpkins come in, they will automatically be turned into seeds, and the seeds will automatically be squeezed. All right, so then we come over here, and we should have seed oil showing up, which is going to let this make more impregnated sticks. Okay, so that's going to get us plenty of impregnated sticks. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do, and this is where it gets special, we are going to set up a system in order to put the frames over here to Honeycomb Hideout. Because I don't want to have to constantly walk back and forth here. I mean, I could, but, well, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Nah, I'm not going to. Okay, so we're going to get impregnated sticks. We have 10. That's excellent. That's all we need. And I'm going to teach the system. We're going to clear that, and we're going to go with impregnated frames. And we're going to say, hey, impregnated frames are impregnated sticks plus string. Okay, we should have absolutely 46,000 string. So we don't have to worry about running out of that anytime soon. So now we taught it how to make impregnated frames. So now, how do we continue to have it do this? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put this back in here. Okay, and we're going to tell this to, where is the, oh wait, that's right, I can just do a frame. And we're going to create one impregnated frame. Okay, we want this as a placeholder. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we need to have a, I wonder if I can do that. I might could do that. I should try to do that. Well, we won't burn through these things that fast, and the impregnated frames are what we're going to use later on, so we'll just stick with the impregnated frames. So we're going to need some ender chests. Okay, we've got plenty of ender chests. I don't even know why I have so many of these different versions, but here's 2 of these, and we're going to go ahead and dye them. I don't think I've used green, yellow, yellow yet. Honestly, I've lost track of which color combinations I've used. So for now, let's make these 2, and then we'll place one out and see if there's anything in it. Okay, no, there's nothing in this one, so excellent. We'll pull this one back up, and we will tell this... Actually, we'll just stand back and laugh at me for being a complete idiot. I already have an ender chest for this. Yellow, yellow, yellow is for Honeycomb Hideout. So, because I'm a dummy, we will now go back and we will convert this to a yellow, yellow, yellow chest, of which we only need 1. And that can go away. So the other thing we're going to need then is going to be an export bus. Okay, we're going to need a precision export bus because you can only craft / whatever with precision ones. So we're going to put, you know what, right here seems like a good enough place as any. So let's put the yellow, yellow, yellow ender chest. And we're going to place it right here. Then I'm going to dig into this wall. And there's the ME cable. So now we're going to hook into this. We're going to need 1 piece of cable. And we are going to hook this up like this. No, like this. Thank you. All right, so now we have something that we can use to export to Honeycomb Hideout. So we're going to tell it to export impregnated frames, but we're going to move them / craft them. So now, if we check our auto crafting system, we are currently trying to make pumpkin seeds, and we are trying to make impregnated frames. And it's currently missing 6 impregnated sticks. And that's fine because it doesn't have enough seed oil, but the pumpkins will take care of that. So now, every time a pumpkin grows, it gets turned into seeds. The seeds get squeezed into seed oil. The seed oil gets used to make impregnated sticks, and then the sticks get made into frames, and the frames get exported over to Honeycomb Hideout. How's that for nifty? So now we're going to just need a little bit of soul sand. We'll take 2 stacks of it. That's probably more than I was about to say ever use, but that's probably a stupid thing to say. So now we will export the soul sand here. And then I'm going to sort this stuff out of my inventory because I don't need it. I'll fix the holes I made and stuff later. And there we go. Alright, so now when we are here, if we type in frame, we now have 5 impregnated frames. Isn't that handy? Alright, so we're going to take the frames, and we're going to add soul sand to them, just like this, and it makes soul frames. So we're going to go ahead and make 2 of these, just for starters. Alright, because that's what we're going to use to get started on bee breeding. Alright, now that we have a basic idea of how we're going to start this out, we're going to go over here. We're going to put in 2 soul frames and 1 oblivion frame. Okay, now keep in mind that this has to be put in this way, unless they changed it, which they may have. We'll find out here in a minute. The bottommost frame is where the oblivion frame needs to be. If you were to put the oblivion frame up here with the soul frames down bottom, it would either make it not mutate correctly or not increase your percentage chance of mutating, or the oblivion frame won't activate. It won't kill them in 1 life tick. So, that being the case, now, well, yeah, anyway, bleh. I just stepped on myself. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. By the way, we've added solar panels out here. I don't know if I showed you guys that or not, but the solar panels are powering the ME system because they're infinite. You know, the sun never goes down since I made this an infinite day overworld with Ars Magica. So I've got 4 medium voltage solar arrays. High voltage solar arrays take forever to make. They make a ton of power, but they take forever to make. It's so annoying. So, yeah. Anyway, never mind. That was my rant for the moment. Alright, so, I was saying something. Oh, right, we're going to breed. We need to breed bees. Now, the reason we want to do bees is for various things. You can do all kinds of amazingly fun things with bees. However, to make this happen faster and easier, we want to use oblivion frames. But I only have 2 oblivion frames, okay? The reason I have 2 oblivion frames is because I found them out in the world while I was out, you know, looking around and finding things. You know, I found dungeons and Thaumcraft dungeons, and you can find them in random dungeon loot. Okay, now I could spend 4 hours going around, and yes, 4. It's exactly 4. If you go a minute longer, you won't find any. I could spend 4 hours going around, and I might find another one, or I might find another 25. I don't know. But the point is, going around looking for them is not the easiest thing in the world. So instead, we're going to make them. Okay, so you need a proven frame, which you can, I don't think you can make it anymore, but you can get proven frames by trading with villagers, and we have the ability to trade with villagers as much as we want. And with a proven frame plus an essence of Scornful Oblivion, you can make an Oblivion frame. Okay, the essence of Scornful Oblivion is kind of complex to make, and the fun part about it is that you have to use the bees to make it, okay? Because first off, you need a dragon egg, and there's only 1 of those available. We can technically get more of them by fighting the dragon multiple times, because now you can resummon him, but we're not going to get into that because we're playing with bees. We may do that later, but for now, we're playing with bees. So, we're going to need to make dragon eggs, okay? And you can make dragon eggs by breeding bees, okay? The other thing we need is Essence of a Shallow Grave and Essence of Lost Time, okay? These are all going to wind up coming together, but first thing we want to worry about is the Essence of Lost Time. Okay, Essence of Lost Time is just glass, a clock, and soulful wax. Okay, the soulful wax is where it gets complicated. Soulful wax comes from soul combs, and you have a 95% chance of getting it. But soul combs come from spirit bees. Okay, so here's where it's going to get complicated. Now, it's fun trying to keep track of this. We need to track this all the way back down, and we're going to wind up going through this several times. Okay, so spirit bees make soul combs with a 16% chance. Okay? The soul bees make it with a 20% chance, and the white bees make it with a 30% chance as well. Now, the big difference here is the white bees, it's a normal production, and the other two, it's a special production. Okay, I'd rather have a normal production comb that way, so we want to try to get the white bees. Okay, white bees, I've never bred these before, so I really don't know what it's going to take. Okay, requires skulking and ghastly. Ghastly is skulking plus ethereal. Okay, so we need to get skulking to get that, but we also need ethereal. And this is going to backtrack down quite a bit. So skulking is modest plus eldritch. Okay, that's probably not going to be too hard to do. However, modest and eldritch, modest bees specifically, require you to be in a desert to get them to work. Okay, so we can do one of two things. One, we can try to get a serum for the advanced genetic machines and make it so that modest bees will work here in the normal climate that we're in, or we can go over to the desert and where it's hot and arid anyway, and try to breed the bees there. Okay, we're probably not going to do that right now just because reasons. Alright, so sulfur wax, blah 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 blah. White bees. Whites are skulking plus ghastly. Ghastly is skulking plus ethereal. Skulking is modest plus eldritch. Eldritch is sorceress plus cultivated, or attuned plus cultivated, or unusual plus cultivated, or mystical plus cultivated. Okay, so because this is the first step, we're going to first start by trying to get ourselves an eldritch bee. Okay, I've got mystical and I've got cultivated. Now, keep in mind that right here it shows mystical bee, mystical princess, plus cultivated drone. Okay, that doesn't actually hold true. Okay, it can be a cultivated queen and a mystical drone. It doesn't matter. It's just, queen and drone you can ignore. It's mystical plus cultivated equals eldritch. Okay, and the important part to notice here as well is right here. It says 12%. Okay, so when you take a mystical bee and a cultivated bee and breed them together, when that queen dies off, you have a 12% chance of getting an eldritch outcome. Okay, and the reason that that's important to note is because 12% is still just a percentage. You can flip a coin and have it land on heads 20 times in a row. Okay, that's a 50-50 chance, and you can still have it land on one side 10 times in a row, 20 times. You can have it happen 100 times in a row. It's possible. So keep in mind that it is only a percentage chance, and that doesn't mean that you're going to get it easily, hard, or whatever. You may get it the first try, and it may take you 100 tries. So if you're breeding bees, just be patient. You can get where you need to go. There are certain bees that have specific requirements that, like specifically to get an ocean bee. I was going to say oceanic. To get an ocean bee, the two bees you have to put together, I don't remember what they are, but you have to be in an ocean biome for that ocean bee to be created. Okay. As we go through this, I will try to point out, I won't always do it, I'm sorry, I'm human, I will make mistakes, but I will try to point out if there's any special circumstances that have to be observed for that to work. So now we're going to take a mystical bee and a cultivated bee, and we're going to try to make an eldritch. Okay, so we need to get in here, and let's see if we have any mystical princesses. We do. We have 12, but they're ignoble. I don't want to use ignoble. Okay, in that case, wow, we have 1,700 ignoble drones. I guess we'll use those. All right, so now do we have any cultivated? Ignoble, pristine. Okay, but this is a queen, so that's not the greatest. So let's go over here, and we're going to toss the queen in there. She'll die off instantly, and then we'll have our cultivated plus mystical combination. All right, so while we're waiting for her to die, let me explain something. Okay, soul frames. As I showed you, you have a 12% chance of getting the kind of bee that you desire from the outcome of this. Why haven't you died yet? There we go. Okay, so you have a 12% chance, right? Each one of these soul frames you add in increases the chance by X percentage. I'm wanting to say 4%, but I don't remember if that's correct or not. I could look it up, but it's really irrelevant because, again, it's only percentages. It can increase it by 10%, and as I said, flip a coin, you got a 50-50 chance. You can still land on one side all the time. So the point is that by putting these in here, it increases your chance, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get it. So I have two soul frames. That's going to increase the chance from 12%, and if I'm correct, it'll add an extra 4% for each of these, making a total of 20% chance of getting an Eldritch B. So now that we put this in here, we're going to wait for the Oblivion frame to kill this sucker real fast. Now keep in mind we are waiting, and adding multiple Oblivion frames will not make a difference. The amount of time it takes for them to die is just the amount of time it takes for their first life cycle, life tick to happen. Okay, so now we have Cultivated Princess and Cultivated Drones. Okay, now, okay, now I'll have to scan all of these because I just wasn't paying close enough attention to how I did that. So this is where the Beealyzer comes into play. Okay, we're not gonna need Big Dig for a long time. We're gonna be here playing with bees for a while. So you bring in the Beealyzer, and again, as I told you before, the Beealyzer works with honey drops here, and then you put the shift click or just click into right here the bee. Okay, now it's telling me that our active trait is cultivated, our inactive trait is eldritch. So this is a hybrid. It's a cultivated eldritch hybrid. Okay, so we didn't wind up with cultivated and mystical. We have eldritch. So we have a partial eldritch princess here. Okay, it would have been nice if she'd come out whole as a complete eldritch, but hey, what can you do? So speed is fast versus slower. Anytime you have a bee that is not pure, is not the same setup, then you're going to have traits that don't match. But that's fine because we go on with cultivated eldritch. And we wound up with normal, yes, pristine stock, 566 generations. That's because it's cultivated. But as you can see, it says it's cultivated eldritch when you hold shift. Okay, so that's fine. And now we're going to put these in here. See, these are cultivated mystical. They did not get any eldritch traits. And these should just be cultivated. These are the old ones. As a matter of fact, yeah, there. All right, so now that we know what these are, we can choose how to breed them. So we're going to put the princess back because we really don't have any choice. And since these both came out the exact same, we can just put one of them in there because it doesn't matter which one we put in. They're both the same. So now we put them in there, and we wait again. So, like I said, bee breeding is time staking, but I enjoy it. I like seeing what I can get out of the bees. So now we will wait. Now, this is my breeder's corner, okay? I have 4 apiaries here for the breeder's corner. Eventually, probably next episode, I will come back and I will have planned out which bees I want to get. And I might even go find some more Oblivion frames to hopefully speed this up. And I'll actually breed 2, 3, and 4 different types of breeding all at the same time. Okay, so while I'm waiting for these bees to do their thing and die out, I will also go ahead and have some other bees trying to make this type, trying to make that type, and so on. All right, so here we go. We've got an Eldritch Princess, a good start, Mystical, and Charmed. Okay, now you might ask yourself, wait a minute, where did a Charmed bee come from? Okay, it's actually very simple. Let's see. Do we have these in here now? There we go. The Charmed Bees. Well, Charmed Bees is cultivated plus Eldritch. Now, how do we wind up that way? Well, we went in to the breeding process, and we had, at the beginning, a cultivated Eldritch Princess, and then we had a cultivated Mystical Drone. Okay, so when you're going into that situation, we actually had cultivated an eldritch in there in the breeding process. Okay, so it accidentally came up with charmed because there was a 10% chance of when you breed bees with cultivated and eldritch in there of coming up with charmed. Okay, so even if that's not what you're going for, you can actually wind up with it anyway. So eldritch, well, we wound up with an eldritch esoteric bee. Okay, we're trying to get just straight up Eldritch at this point, so we're gonna have to see about that. I'm not even sure where Esoteric lies. Esoteric fun. I'm not even sure about that. I've never even had an Esoteric bee, so I don't know. But what we will probably wind up doing, shoot, I'm not sure how I want to do this. Ultimately, I have to choose how I want to breed next. Okay, I'm trying for a pure Eldritch, but if I put an Eldritch Esoteric in here, and, well, we're just going to do that. We're going to do Eldritch Esoteric with Mystical Eldritch and see what comes out. Okay, now the other thing is we now have this Charmed Mystical Hybrid. Okay, the Charmed Mystical Hybrid is not going to be that useful to us right now, but we may be trying to get Charmed Bees later. So because that is the case, I am going to take this bee over to the genetic machines, and I am going to take that out. I'm going to put the charmed bee in here, okay? And I'm going to hopefully, if I'm lucky, it will take this bee and it will turn it into a charmed species serum. Okay, if not, it'll kill the bee, or it might give me some other kind, whichever. It could run once and kill the bee and give me nothing. It could run 15 times without killing the bee and give me, 15 charmed bee species serums. But because it's not a pure bee, I'm going to go ahead and toss it in here. This is just my preference, mind you. This is just how I want to do it. I'm hoping that it'll give me a charmed species serum. And it did not that time. So I'll just leave that for a moment and go back here and see what we have going on over here. We're running over time on the episode, and I was hoping to, what did we wind up with now? Okay, Esoteric, Eldritch, Mystical. Okay. We wound up with an Esoteric Eldritch, an Eldritch Eldritch, and a Mystical Esoteric. Okay, so we have an Eldritch drone. Okay, it is a pure Eldritch drone. So I'm going to hold that one aside now because it doesn't have any variation to it. So now if I get a pure Eldritch Princess, I can take the pure Eldritch Princess and put it with the pure Eldritch drone, and that will get us a pure Eldritch Queen and the pure, keep it so that we can produce pure Eldritch drones that we can then use for genetic manipulation. So we're going to take the Esoteric Eldritch Hybrid, and we're going to put it in there with the Mystical Esoteric, and we're going to let those fly and see what happens. Now, we have a cultivated Mystical here. I really don't care about that, so we're going to ditch it. Alright, so while that's doing that, let's go over here. Okay, the bee has been destroyed, and we got a none effect, normal production, slowest flowering, and normal fertility, if I can speak straight. And those are all nothing that I care about. So I am going to put them in to be cooked up. The charmed drone was lost with no gain. And that was, well, my fault, my decision. I decided to try and it didn't work out. So, alright, so now we wound up with a Mystical Esoteric, an Eldritch Mystical, and a Mystical Esoteric. So we're going to put them back in again. And Mystical Esoteric, Eldritch Mystical. That's what we're going to put in there. And this guy who has Esoteric will go over here. And we're going to toss this Esoteric version in here and see if we can get an Esoteric species serum. Okay, so while this is all going on, we're going to take a quick second to look and see what it has to say about Esoteric bees. Okay, Eso has Desolate, Esoteric bee. Okay, Esoteric. Esoteric is cultivated plus Eldritch, and the... Oh, wow. Okay, you can use Esoteric for a bunch of things. Okay, so we're probably going to want to have Esoteric as one of our things at some point. Esoteric bees produce occult combs, and so do Mysterious, Arcane, Ethereal, Destabilized, Lux. Okay, so that's not a great comb. It's not a big deal. We don't really worry about having those because what they produce is not exactly unique. So we're not going to worry about that. Mystical species serums. Well, oh, I forgot to label these. Oblivion, cultivated. Well, now you get mystical in there with you as well. I really would prefer the other as the species serum, but that's okay too. So as you can see, this is something, we're going to wind up with Esoteric here. Esoteric Eldritch. Esoteric Eldritch. Mystical Esoteric. Okay, well, it's not going to be the end of the world. I'm going to go ahead and put both of the Esoteric Eldritch in here, and we'll see. In theory, we should wind up with a purebred of one or the other. I mean, it really doesn't matter at this point. So we're going to go ahead and toss this extra drone in here, and hopefully get an Esoteric species serum, and that way we don't have to worry about Esoteric ever again. If I don't get it this time, we're going to close the episode anyway because it's getting a little bit too long of an episode. As you can see, bee breeding can go on forever. And, oh, there we go. All right, come on now. Don't be all hybridy. Eldritch Esoteric. Dang it. Esoteric Eldritch. Eldritch Esoteric. See, they're just messing with me now. Fine. You go in there, and what's different between you two? Nothing that I can see. I want to get my first intended pure bred bee before I, quit this. Humidity tolerance, none. No, blah. You're useless. I want this episode to have one successful bee breeding, showing you that, look, it can be done. Although it might run long. I don't like doing cuts. I don't like doing jump cuts because I think it takes away from the experience. I think it lets things happen that you're not seeing. I don't mind specifically doing, whoa, mysterious drone. That's a very mysterious drone. Okay, Esoteric. Eldritch, sweet. We have done it. Okay, so now what I want to do is if I had a bunch of Oblivion frames, I would just make a bunch of Eldritch drones. That way I would have a whole bunch. But for now, we're going to just put... Ooh, I need an auto-cycler around here. We'll figure out how to do that. Anyway, so there we have a pure Eldritch Princess and a pure Eldritch Drone. So now we can put those together, and they will produce pure Eldritch drones that I can then use, as many as I want to isolate the Eldritch species serum. Which would have been hilarious if it was sitting right here in Eldritch Species Serum. Now, as you're going through this, you can actually, if you were to get an Eldritch Species Serum from one of the hybrids that you toss in here, at that point, you no longer have to breed. You can use the Species Serum to change a princess and a drone into purebred versions. So if you're having a particularly hard time with one, and you keep getting hybrids but not any pure, then it's not going to hurt anything to go ahead and use the serums to boost your to lower your time spent and boost your output. Default territory, Eldritch. See, I got the right ones, but I don't need them anymore. So it's okay. If I ever happen to lose the Eldritch Princess and therefore can't make anymore, I now have the Eldritch Species Serum, so I can make any princess and drone into an Eldritch species. Okay, you make these as a backup just in case something happens and you don't... Trust me, when you go through all these things, you don't want to have to breed things again. When you finally get it through, make sure you get the Species Serum and put the Species Serum off to the side. That way, if you ever lose them, you can just go and get the Species Serum and make another one instead of having to go through the whole breeding process again. Because that's not fun. Okay, so Esoteric and Mysterious, you guys can both go in there just because we have what we want and we are done. So in between episodes, I'm going to map out several different bees that I ultimately want to make. Okay, and I'm going to try to hopefully find some more Oblivion frames, although I doubt I'll be able to. I probably won't actually spend a whole lot of time looking, to be honest with you, just because I like the idea of actually making them. Previous versions, when I've done bees, I have always gone and found Oblivion frames, and now that I can make them, I want to make them. I don't want to go out and find them. I found a couple, and that's useful. It's going to be helpful to get to the point of making them, but I want to go make some. So that's what we're going to do. Temp, default territory. Wow, it took all those and didn't give me nothing. All right, so anyway, this is Jaronitis signing off on episode 60 of Feed the Beast 1.6. Like me if you like me. Get lost. Subscribe if you want to see what I do next. That's what I was trying to say. And as always, help spread the gaming.